Hello everyone, welcome back. It's been a while since I recorded the last video. Mainly been busy with Dark Souls 2, as some of you may or may not know. Damn. It's a good game, highly recommend it. But yeah, it's been a while since I've been recording Sky Factory playthroughs. It's probably been, well, 4 or 5 days now. But yeah, our lava is complete in the deep dark. Our crucibles are now online. I just finished them up, probably about 10 minutes ago. I got the last of the crucibles laid down. I think that's like 100 and, oh, taking damage from the dark. By the way, server lag's fixed. Oh yes, server lag is fixed, so we don't have to worry about that anymore. Anyways, I did the math, and there's 24 crucibles in a row, so we now have 144 crucibles producing lava full time, and it's more lava than I know what to do with. The pipes are backed up, the crucibles are getting backed up. It's a lot of lava. It's a lot of lava. So what I think I'm gonna do is just grab a bunch of open block tanks and put up a giant tank wall here. Just to have like a huge buffer of lava, so I never have to worry about lava again. Because we are completely full. I ran out of glass. I wanted to go with 2 stacks of tanks, but luckily we have this awesome item buffer system set up, so we are definitely going to be increasing our glass buffer. What's this? Hardened glass. We should increase that buffer too. Set that to 2 stacks, and we'll set this to... I'm going to store 1,024 pieces of glass. I did set up a couple more things. Uh-oh. That's why we're out of glass. I'm out of power. We're using too much power in this area. I think that's one thing we're going to tackle this video. We're going to upgrade these lines, and I want Applied Energistics to handle like 3-stage crafting? Yeah, 3-stage crafting for things like Tesseracts, redstone conduits, things of that nature. We're going to tackle that as well this video. Alright, so here's our buffer tank. It's going to look pretty neat when we get the rest set up. Yeah, I think I like this. That's going to be a really big buffer tank. I just need a few more open block tanks. And we'll go see how our lines are doing in the overworld. That should start draining these shortly, as soon as this line clears out a bit more. Okay, did our system power up again? Yes, it did. Perfect. So we're going to now go up to 1,000 pieces of glass. You're up to 2 stacks of hardened. You're almost there. Like I said, I did set up a couple more things that I've been using a lot of. So those are going through the buffer system as well. It's still making bricks. It's taking a while to catch up with them bricks. Anything I use a lot of, I'm just going to add on to my row of these buffers, which I'm absolutely loving. I've never thought of doing this before. I've always did it with logistics pipes when I've played myself. I had like a barrel with a supplier pipe hooked up to it, and yeah. Wait, not a supplier pipe. Maybe it was a supplier pipe. No, yeah, it was a supplier pipe. Okay, yep. Supplier pipes. Those are the ones that supply an inventory with X. Okay, back to the project at hand. I wanted to set up a little bit of a system to handle like 2 or 3 stage crafting where I have to make the item. Like a redstone conduit's a prime example. Let's take a look at a redstone conduit. This is a prime example where I have to make the item itself. Right here. I have to make the item itself out of hardened electrum, and then I have to turn the item into a full cell, which then requires me melting redstone into a transposer. Okay, so let me get some materials together, and I want to do this for 2 things mainly, Tesseracts and redstone energy conduits. Because this line needs to be upgraded, I can't have this go offline again. That's just not acceptable. Let me get some mats together. Alright, so I think I have everything. How this is going to work in my head is it's going to kind of work like my furnace system. The way I have it like kind of in my head is basically like this furnace system, but I'm going to have it whitelisted for a transposer and a magma crucible separately. I'm going to have separate whitelists on servos for item ducts. And the transposer and the crucible will kind of send fluid in between each other seamlessly. That's the way I think it's going to work, but I don't know. It'll take some playing around, and it'll take a little bit of, yeah, just a little bit of playing around and tinkering. But I think this is very possible to do. Perfect. Okay, so magma crucible, I wanted spaced out one on the other side, just like my other furnace system. Gonna probably need 2 chests, just like this. Impulse ducts down the middle. First chest, second chest, that's nothing. This is an output. We're gonna need to servo that. I might want to lay this out a little bit different. Yeah, I think that looks good. I think that looks good. Let me run these conduits. Alright, so this should be okay. Transposer is going to be the fill. The crucible is going to be what destroys things and turns it into fluid. So let's think about this. I want my input on the left, output on the top. No, I want the out. This doesn't even need an output line. This is nothing. The output will... Ooh, don't do that. The output will be on the back. That will output the fluids. And the transposer will accept what we need to transpose on the right face, and on the top face will be the output. Top face will be the output, and the back will be a fluid input. Let's get a servo in there. Did I already put a servo in there? Yes, I did. Set you to low. Those will auto output because these TE machines are smart enough to auto output. Let me grab some junk. Let's start off with some redstone. And these are what per? These need 200 per, and redstone gives me 100 per. So that should be a good start. I'm going to need some servos to whitelist this as well. This will need to be whitelisted, and this will need to be whitelisted. Alright, so you're going to accept the conduits. Whitelist conduit. And you will accept the redstone. Whitelist redstone. That should pull it out. Everything should end up into this chest, which will be our import. I think this looks okay. I think this looks okay. Let's see how it goes. Conduits should arrive. Good, they did arrive. I kind of want to see what happens if the fluid should be smart enough to arrive in the back. Yes, in the tank, so there's not going to be any mix-up there. It's impossible to arrive here, so there's no mix-up. Perfect. We're now on 3-stage crafting with TE and applied energistics. We just made conduits. These can share conduits and tesseracts, but I'm going to need another one for item ducts themselves. So item ducts themselves will have to have their separate line. I'm going to need a cover. Just one cover. That should do the trick there. One fluid duct. That should do the trick there. Oh, I'm going to need another. Well, no, this can import straight into that chest too. There's no reason why this couldn't end up in that chest. That should be fine. That will be our basic import. I don't want to hook it up just yet because I kind of want to see this in action before I throw it into production. We're going to do some testing and see what happens. And we'll throw it into production. So if I put one more chest here and then another interface on the top, make sure we have this not connected at all. Interface down below. That should be good for the separate system for things like impulse item ducts, which have uneven ratios. That should be good. What do I need now? thinking if I could do it all through this interface. I think I could. Why not? It looks kind of ugly, is why not? I went up this way though, and I just disconnect, disconnect, disconnect. That would work. That would work. So would I need this interface? We can do it all through one interface, I think. So then this would just need to be whitelisted on its own thing, and this would also need to be... Oh, not you. You don't need a servo. We can just run this input line over this way. Looks a bit ugly. I'll change this to be on the top just so it's a little bit symmetrical. So the input on this will just change to the top, and this will be top. Output on the back. Good. And this will be input on the left facing, output on the top facing. Good. And on the back. Yeah, we just changed the facing. Everything else is the same. I think this should work now. We need to install these servos for whitelisting though. Servo, servo, servo. This one had a servo in it that's now useless. We need to re-whitelist redstone and glowstone. Whitelist redstone and glowstone, those should be okay now. This is on a whitelist for what? Item duct or conduits. This should be on a whitelist for both types of item ducts, just in case I ever want non-opaque types. Item duct. I need to go craft some. Alright, so I'm just going over the pattern encoder for the Tesseracts. I already got the frame in there. We're gonna have to teach it how to fill the frame, so ender pearl. 4 ender pearls. Let's request 1 frame, by the way. Should you go in there? Here's me trying to keep my auto-crafting system organized. Pointless. Why won't you be happy there? I have the enderium. Maybe it's because it doesn't know how to make enderium. Is that the problem? We could try, because I didn't teach it how to make enderium yet, so let's search enderium. We need pyrotheum dust, which is sulfur, coal, blaze, redstone. So this knows how to make pyrotheum dust now. Yeah, pulverized coal should do the trick for pyrotheum as well, so let's change this recipe. I don't want to try to use coal powder when pyrotheum can be made with pulverized coal as well, I'm almost positive. Yeah, pulverized coal is fine there too. So we'll make sure it always uses pulverized coal. And we'll teach it that 1 coal equals 1 piece of pulverized coal. Pulverized coal, that's good. And now we need sulfur, which sulfur I'm pretty sure I have to make in the sag mill. Sulfur. Nether quartz, blaze rods. I think blaze rods is going to be my best bet for sulfur because I have a ton of blaze rods. I can do netherrack and soul sand in the induction smelter with a 25% byproduct. Not very good. I think I'm going to sag mill blaze rods. Netherrack's not too bad, but netherrack's kind of expensive, believe it or not. Redstone plus lava. That equals less power supply. Pulverizing a blaze rod gives me 4 blaze powder and a 50% chance of sulfur. What's the sag mill give me? Seg mill gives me a less % chance for sulfur. So pulverizer's the winner there. Let's get a blaze rod and teach this how to make sulfur. Blaze rod, sulfur. I should have a few more after I made from last time. And what was the ratio, just so I get this right? It's a 50% chance. So maybe I should tell it that 2 blaze rods equals 1 sulfur, and we might have excess. To have it nice and efficient. Let's see what happens. Let's request 10 sulfur. Got 20 blaze rods. We are piling up sulfur. And of course blaze powder. We have so much blaze powder. I don't know of a better way to get sulfur. Alright, and I'm just thinking how I want to handle the last piece of enderium. The last piece of the recipe for enderium, which is a resonant ender bucket. And I kind of don't want to do it on the same network. Just because if I have two things whitelisted for, like this is going to be whitelisted for my cells, and this is also going to be whitelisted for ender pearls for Tesseract frames themselves. Like this could be whitelisted for ender pearls, this could be whitelisted for the frames once you get that crafting. And I think how I want to handle the bucket for enderium is another interface itself. Just because there might be some backlog and the ender pearls might get mixed up. I gotta think about this. I mean, this should be able to handle the buckets because it'll try and do the bucket recipe first, and then once it has the bucket, it'll do the frame. I'm gonna see if this will handle the buckets. You know, if I do a bigger order of like 2 Tesseracts, it might not handle the buckets well. So I want a separate, I definitely want a separate crucible and a separate fluid transposer on its own thing right here to handle the buckets. It could easily get messed up. Unless I'm like not thinking about this properly in my head, it will definitely request the bucket for the enderium first. But in case something happens, like I run out of enderium and there's a frame sitting there waiting for a bucket on a bigger order, something could get messed up. So I'm going to make another little interface setup for my other bucket. For the enderium itself, the enderium blend. Alright, so I think we're good now. 4 ender pearls, 1 empty bucket equals a bucket of resonant ender. That should be perfect now. And now we'll teach this what to do with that. So crafts 1 resonant ender bucket with 4 ender pearls and 1 bucket. And we did the same setup, whitelisted a bucket, whitelisted ender pearls, and this will import it once we set that up. So let's request 1 bucket of resonant ender, and we should be getting all the mats we need. Nice. Should be flowing over. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So that should be making the resident ender, should pop into the chest, and that will be our resident ender bucket. Nice. And it's imported. So that crafting job should be off the queue. So that takes care of the resident ender bucket perfectly fine. So now that stage of enderium is done, and now we teach the system how to make enderium itself. There's one thing you always want to make sure, and that's to make sure you have the right type of pulverized goodies. Because there's different types of things in your dictionary, and sometimes it gets itself messed up. So I want to make sure I've got the right type of TE stuff there. See, Enderio tin powder, that'll mess it up. That will definitely mess up the recipe, and it'll say, hey, I don't have any of this Enderio pulverized tin. I need the TE pulverized tin. So that should be good now. So we should be able to request enderium. From start to finish, we got 4 enderium blend. Perfect. Now we have to smelt this down. So 1 pyrothene dust, 2 enderium blend equals 2 enderium bars. And that should go to our induction smelter over here. Nice. You should be happy with that. That should be good, because now we know how to make every stage of the pyrodust. The sag mill's making us our sulfur. No, not the sag mill. The pulverizer's making us sulfur out of blaze rods. That should be good. Now let's figure out why the hell the system is angry with Tesseract frames. Tesseract frame, empty. Oh, that's why it was mad, because I had the wrong recipe in there. Oh, it's hardened glass. Dough. What a dumb oversight. That's okay, all those steps needed to be done. Now it's happy with the frame. That should be good. Let's request one frame. Request one frame. It's done. Now what do we do with the frame? We need to fill it. So now we should teach this that one Tesseract frame plus 4 ender pearls equals 1 full Tesseract. And that should go into our other system that we taught everything else over here. Yeah, right here. So you're whitelisted for conduits and frames now. Because these are nice and even, this one's uneven. This back one's uneven, these ones are even, so we should be fine now. And you have to be whitelisted for pearls, you're good there. We'll teach this. Oh, we also forgot a couple recipes. Let's get those too. So this should be item duct plus glowstone. This is 1 for 1 because this is 250, I think. Let's see, usage. The magma crucible is 250. So that's 250, and you on usage should be 200 for 1. So there we go. Opaque equals an opaque item duct. Encode. And take those out. Plus the clear item duct equals clear impulse. Oh, just 1. There we got opaque and clear. That should be good in that one. And now we need 1 redstone frame plus 2 redstone. So these are 100 per equals 1 redstone energy conduit. Encode. So we should be good there. This is our bunged up frame recipe that we forgot needed hardened glass dough. That was a bit of an oversight. Perhaps 1 Tesseract. Okay, so these are all ready to input now. Let's input these all downstairs and we can see this in full-blown action. That's good. This is conduits, Tesseract frames, and item ducts. Item ducts, conduits, and Tesseract frames. So let's see this all in action. We should be able to go through the whole process now. All of the 3-stage craftings that are a pain in the butt are done. Let's pull out all the enderium so we have nothing sitting in there. I want to see this process from start to finish. From start to finish, and what was the other thing? Conduit. We have 2 in there, so good. Let's request a stack of conduits, 1 Tesseract, some item ducts, 10 of those, and 10 of those. This should go through the whole process from start to finish without any interference from us. Conduits are being made perfectly good. We're out of power. Oh, this isn't even powered. Whoopsie. Hardened energy conduit. There we go. Now you're powered. Now they're getting power. My system's gonna run out of power for sure. So the resident enders already went through. It's melting down my redstone, my glowstone. It should be waiting to melt down the ender pearls once the other stuff is done. I did request a little bit too many conduits, but that's okay. And we can hook this import up now because this is doing a great job. See, there's a little bit of overflow of resident or energized glowstone. I need to get that ratio right. Because that ratio should not be that much of an annoyance. I think we're still waiting on the Tesseracts, but the item ducts probably went through. Let's search. No, they're still being made. Tesseracts on a sub job. Conduits are being done. Missing item duct. Oh, they don't know how to make item ducts yet. Whoops, that's an oversight. Item duct. Let's make sure we have the right tin. That's a big annoyance, by the way. And we're out of power down below. So my buffer system's offline. You should be happy with item ducts now. The other ones still need to be taught how to made as well. Opaque item ducts. That should be good. Tinkers, thermal, and tinkers. Should not be getting caught up now. Nope, we're making it all. Nice. It's currently crafting 3 glowstone of the pulverizer. That all should be good. Should be just about done. Starting to fill up our item ducts now. Awesome. I'm very pleased. This is a very complicated stage of crafting we've now automated. I'm very pleased with this. These, by the way, are draining a ton of power. 131 per machine, 189. We're draining a ton of power, way more than this little hardened line can keep up with. So, what I'm going to do in between videos is upgrade this line. Now that we have this whole process automated, I could just say, give me 2 stacks of redstone energy conduits. It will do the rest. We're going to teach it how to fill up redstone frames, wherever they are. They're upstairs. The redstone cells themselves. We'll teach them how to fill up those so we can have those hooked up to the lines. I think it's just about done. It's just filling up the last few conduits, and the Tesseract frame should come through next. The glowstone ratio is so off. I need to get that a little bit more refined, because I should not be producing this much excess. That's enough for 2 more item ducts themselves. I need to refine the item ducts. I'm fine with a little bit of overflow, but I don't want 500 sitting there. But yeah, I'm going to wait for this to finish up. I want to see the Tesseract frame itself come through, then I know everything is golden. But I hope you enjoyed the video. I'm just going to sit around and watch this autocraft for a couple minutes at the end of the video. This is a very advanced stage of crafting, now automated. No longer have to worry about doing this by hand. It's done. Like I said, hope you enjoyed the video. I know I said I'd explore that little dungeon, but this power outage was kind of an offset and kind of an important thing. So, how's the Tesseract frame going? Oh, now it's melting down the ender pearls. Exciting moment. Where's the frame? Where's the frame? Exciting moment. This is what I want to end on, seeing this Tesseract frame being done. Did I not teach it how to smelt? No, it knows how to smelt. The induction smelter definitely knows how to smelt. Yep, it knows how to smelt. Oh, it's bunged up with obsidian. It's bunged up with obsidian. That ratio is obviously off because that should never happen. Just waiting on the enderium now. Where's an ender bucket? It's making 1 more set. Yep, the last set's being made right now. Bucket's waiting to get filled. Bucket's filling. The bucket is filling. I want to see this fill the frame. It's not making the required enderium. And bang. Frame should be filling. It's filling. Maybe. Maybe. It's filling. Good. Mission complete. We now have Tesseracts, item ducts, impulse item ducts, redstone conduits, autocrafting. I know I already did the outro. That's because I thought it was done, and my induction furnace was backed up with obsidian for some reason. Don't know why. Oh, I guess I should teach it what to do with the frame. One more stage, and that's bronze. Encode. I think you could figure out what I'm gonna do to teach this, how to handle bronze, but if not, I'll go over it next video. I see where I messed up. I need to change this pattern downstairs, because it's not the end stage, there's one more stage. So Tesseract crafting is in fact not 3 stage at all, it's like 100 stage crafting. Let's put you back in there. I'm gonna blank that out really quick. You finish off with a frame. Encode. Ay. Now we should be good. Now we're good. Now it knows what to do with the frames. So we'll see you all next time. What a messy video. What a messy crafting stage. What a messy crafting project. But it's done now. It's done now.